You're not stuck because you're bad with money. You're stuck because you're following a system that was never built to get you out. Right now, millions of people are doing exactly what they've been told to do, making the minimum payment on their credit cards every month. And it's quietly destroying them. Let's make this real. If you carry an average balance of around $11,000 at an interest rate above 20%, you won't just pay that debt back. You'll pay it back multiple times. Over 2 decades, you can end up paying nearly 3 times what you originally borrowed. Not because you're irresponsible, because of how this system works. Minimum payments don't eliminate debt, they extend it. They turn a short-term problem into a 20-year obligation. That means you could spend the same amount of time raising a child, from birth to adulthood, just trying to clear one credit card balance. And that's the default path most people are on. Total debt levels today are massive, but big numbers don't change behavior. So let's shrink it down to something personal. If you earn $40,000 a year and carry $8,000 in credit card debt, that debt represents a huge portion of your actual income, not your salary, but what you actually take home. In practical terms, that means a significant part of your working time is already spoken for. Not building your future, not saving, just paying for the past. That's what debt does. It steals time. This isn't about judgment, it's about reality. And more importantly, it's about changing it. Because staying in this cycle isn't a strategy. Hoping it fixes itself isn't a plan. There is a way out. And it doesn't require a high income. It requires a system that actually works with human behavior. Most traditional advice fails for one simple reason. It assumes you behave like a spreadsheet. You've probably heard it. Pay off the highest interest rate first. Mathematically, that makes sense. But behaviorally, it doesn't. Because it asks you to stay motivated while attacking your biggest, slowest moving debt for months, sometimes years, without seeing meaningful progress. And most people don't last that long. They start strong, then momentum fades, then they quit. Not because they're lazy, because the system doesn't reward progress early, and humans need progress to stay in the fight.
So here's what actually works. The debt snowball method. Simple. List all your debts from smallest balance to largest. Ignore interest rates for now. Pay minimums on everything and throw every extra dollar at the smallest debt. When that one is gone, you roll that payment into the next, then the next, and the next. What starts small begins to build momentum. You don't just reduce debt, you start winning. And those wins change everything. Because the first time you eliminate a balance completely, something shifts. You stop feeling stuck. You start feeling capable. That's what keeps you going. Not math, momentum. Before you even start that process, though, there's one step people skip, and it's the reason many fail. You need a small emergency fund. Not months of savings, just enough to absorb life when it hits. Because it will. Without it, one unexpected expense sends you right back into debt. And that reset destroys motivation. So build a small buffer first. Then attack the debt. Next, you need clarity. Most people don't actually know what they owe. They avoid it, because seeing the number feels heavy. But avoiding it keeps you stuck. So write it all down. Every balance, every payment, every account. No guessing, no rounding. Just truth. Because you can't fix what you refuse to face. Then comes the real shift. You need to control where your money goes. Not mentally, not loosely. Specifically. Track your spending. Not what you think you spend, what you actually spend. Because money doesn't disappear. It leaks. Subscriptions, convenience spending, small, repeated decisions that feel harmless in the moment. But together, they create the problem. Once you see it clearly, you can redirect it. Not by suffering, by choosing. And here's the part most people overlook. Cutting expenses helps, but increasing income changes the game. Even small increases matter. Extra money doesn't just reduce debt, it accelerates everything. A few hundred more per month can cut years off your timeline. Sell what you don't use, offer simple services, pick up flexible work. It doesn't have to be permanent. It just has to move the needle. Also, understand this. Your debt is negotiable more often than you think. Interest rates can sometimes be reduced. Fees can be removed. Payment terms can change. You don't lose anything by asking. but most people never ask.
There are also traps you need to avoid. Consolidation loans that shift debt instead of solving it. Balance transfers that delay the problem. Quick fix solutions that sound easy but keep you stuck. Real progress requires change, not rearrangement. At some point, if you stay consistent, something powerful happens. The balances start disappearing. The pressure begins to lift. And eventually, you reach zero. No debt. No minimum payments. No interest dragging you backwards. But that's not the end. That's the turning point. Because now the same system that got you out starts building your future. You expand your emergency fund. You invest what used to go to debt. You create stability instead of stress. And something else changes too. Your mindset. You stop reacting to money and start directing it. You stop feeling behind and start building forward. This isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about reclaiming control. It's about turning your income into something that works for you, not against you. Time will pass either way. The question is simple. Will you still be carrying this debt, or will you be free from it? The system works. Now it's your move.